Nature makes beer. People make brew. We then give that brew to Mother Nature, and she works her magic on it, and then we get beer. And it's very easy to do. What you'll do is you'll boil some water on your stove top. And you should pay attention to this too. See, the cool thing is, you have to, no, don't roll your eyes. This is very important. I want you to pay attention. You have to be 21 to buy beer, but you don't have to be 21 to make beer. See, there's a loophole in there. Is this okay? I don't want to lead anybody down the path to iniquity here. That's why you brought him, yeah, for the education. Yeah, I tell you what, actually, the guy who started Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, Ken Grossman is his name. He started it in 1978. He was a bike mechanic, and he just started welding together some used dairy tanks, and that's how he got started. What gave him his background in brewing was not getting a degree from some German brewing institute or anything like that. He joined a home brewing club when he was in junior high school. Yeah, I'm not sure how he pulled that off.
Goodbye, I'm going to piano lessons.
He walks out the door with his bucket and grain and everything. It really is easy. I mean, if you can boil water, you can make beer. So what you're going to do is you're going to boil some water, then you're going to add sugar to it. And this doesn't look like sugar, but it is. It's malted barley, and this is the source of sugar from which beer is made. Beer is alcohol, and alcohol is simply sugar that's been transformed by the grace of God into something wonderful. Yeah. And the sugar that we use to make beer comes from malted barley. Actually, let me backtrack. The sugar we use to make good beer comes from malted barley. Yeah, bad beer, high fructose corn syrup, molasses, gelatinized rice compounds, blanched hominy, grits, whatever. I mean, all of these things get used to make beer because they're cheap. But people have been using malted barley to make great beer for almost 10,000 years. And malted barley is simply barley that's been soaked in water, and it's been allowed to sprout. And that's how we tease the sugar out of it. Because otherwise, I mean, barley, like wheat or rye, it's grass seed. And so it's very hard and very starchy and really not terribly useful. You got to process it. So the way we develop those sugars is by processing it, and that's called malting, just soaking it and letting it dry. You can then toast it a little bit if you like. That gives it a nice golden color. Our pale ale, which is what we're making today, it's this rich amber color because we're using some toasted malt in it. That's where beer gets its color from. It gets its color from the kind of grain you're using. If you're making a dark beer, you're simply making a beer with some grain that's been roasted very darkly, like this. Dark beer is not stronger than pale beer. That's a common misperception. It's not heavier, it's not more bitter or anything like that. A dark beer just has a little dark roasted malt in it. And making a beer recipe is just like baking a cake. You're just taking different types of grain, you're mixing them together. Of course, at home, you're going to add the sugar after it's been extracted from that grain. That's just a lot easier. The malt extract, it looks like pancake syrup or molasses. You're going to boil that into a pot of boiling water. You're going to boil it for about an hour. Then you're going to add your hops. You know what I'll do? I'll pass these ingredients around. Malt actually tastes good. We put it into everything, from breakfast cereal to energy bars to candy to bread. It's everywhere. So I'll pass it around. There's a little, there's a little dispenser on the side. You can, yeah, Laura will clean that up later. This is, so just take a couple of kernels, because it's pretty dry, but it tastes good. It's pretty palatable. I want to pass around some hops, too. I know it looks like rabbit food. It's the same technology. We simply take hop flowers, and they get crushed into pellets, because it preserves their goodness a little more effectively. So I'll pass these around, and you can smell them. Well, you can eat them. You can eat pencil shavings too if you want to. That doesn't make it a good idea. But I tell you what, they are really good for you. Hops will do everything from curing insomnia to alleviating pain to reducing anxiety to helping you sleep better at night, hence the curing insomnia. Improving your mood, stimulating your appetite. They're a member of the cannabis family, so if any of that sounds familiar to you, then might be an explanation right there. That's why German monks started putting hops into beer in the first place. You can flavor your beer with anything. Honey, fruit, vegetables, beef broth, onions, all of these things have been used to flavor beer throughout history. hops have been pretty much the standard flavoring agent for the last 400 years because they give beer that nice bitter, crisp finish and the nice pleasant aroma, and they also keep it from spoiling because they're a natural antibiotic. Yeah, give the dog some too. It's really nutritious stuff.
They're eating it off the floor.
Oh yeah, excellent. Yeah, bring them over because we got a lot here. I'll pass these around. You can smell them. And you're welcome to eat one if you like. Just let us know so we can watch. This would be fun.
Feeling hungry.
Yeah, there you go. You know, so basically you're boiling the sugar water for an hour. You add the hops, you boil it for another 20 minutes. You throw it into a bucket or a jug. You know, we got some water jugs over there. You could easily make beer in one of those things. The container doesn't matter. Your equipment doesn't matter. It's the ingredients. You let it sit for a few weeks and you got beer. I mean, it's really that easy. And I'm sure all of you live within a few miles of a home brew shop. There's lots of them. They're all over the country. You guys have any questions? I'm not really letting you get a word in edgewise. Sorry about that. I'll be quiet.
How much beer do you got to drink to get your hair turned blue?
How much beer do you got to drink to get your hair turned blue? A lot. I've worked here for four years, and I usually start drinking at 10 a.m. So, no, actually, yeah, the blue hair, I can explain that. Some of you might even have seen these bottles around Southern California. It's our Stone IPA, but we put it in a different bottle for the last few weeks. At Stone, we do a lot of fundraising. For instance, right now we got our 12th anniversary party going on just down the road at Cal State San Marcos. Last year we raised well over $100,000 for children's charities and environmental groups. Leading up to the party and for a few weeks afterwards, a lot of us dye our hair blue. And we do this to also get donations for charity. You know, you could do a walkathon, but frankly, there's not a lot of entertainment value there. You dye your hair blue, well, that gets people's attention a little bit more. So rather than doing a walkathon for charity, we dye our hair blue for a few weeks. And if you'd like to just make a $5 donation, I mean, I don't want to make you feel awkward by soliciting you, but you can do it on our website if you like, or you can just see me after the tour. It goes to children's charities, really great organizations, and we do it every year. Last year, through dyeing our hair, we earned about, I think we earned about $35,000, $40,000. It's a good cause. Yeah. Good beer is made by good people. Bad beer, yeah, keep that in mind. Any other questions? Let us just enjoy the awkward silence for a moment. I'm comfortable. Yeah. Thanks. Well, what I'll do is I'll lead you guys around the brewery and I'll show you how we put this stuff together and make beer out of it. When you're making beer, you're doing three things. You're brewing it, which is what we're doing over there. That takes a few hours. At home, it only takes an hour and a half, 2 hours on your stovetop. You then throw it into a bucket and you let Mother Nature turn that brew into beer. That's going to take at home a few weeks. And then you're going to put it into bottles, and you can drink it right away, but it really won't be as good as it could be. You want to let it sit a little longer. That's the conditioning part. So you're brewing, fermenting, conditioning. Conditioning is what we're doing right here. Inside of this whiskey barrel is 12th anniversary bitter chocolate oatmeal stout. And that beer tastes great as it is, but you put it in a whiskey barrel and let it sit for a couple of years, it's going to soak up all the whiskey flavors, it's going to soak up some of the oak flavors, and because the barrel is permeable, you know, oxygen can move through the wood, the yeast that's inside there is going to wake up and it's going to get to work again, and it's going to change that beer even further, so it's going to be outstanding. So that's what we're doing here. We're not going to put this into a bottle, but we will put it on tap. Every now and then we will break into our aged beers. Some beers do age very well, like a wine or a whiskey. Most beers are best the day they go into the bottle, like our pale ale. You want to drink that as fresh as possible. We're going to try some at the end of our tour, and it's going to be coming out of a keg that's probably no more than a week or two old. But some beers, if they've got enough structure, enough complexity, enough oomph to them, you can age them and get wonderful results. All right, so let me show you guys around. We'll go take a look at the place. We're going to head back